crazy roommate, we all have it. Learning that you control that voice. That voice does not control you. You can step behind that voice. It's talking to you right now. You can step behind that voice right now. Let him say whatever he's going to say. You decide if you want to react or engage in that conversation, that subconscious voice that we all have. Learning that you control it, it does not control you. And for me, that was writing out cards, putting them in my locker, putting them in my bag, putting them on my mirror in front of the sink every morning when I brush my teeth, and when I brush my teeth at night. Those affirmations, those positive things that you want it to, that you want to say, and that you want that voice to say. And when he goes crazy and starts undermining your confidence and talking about all the things you should have done, and you tell it to stop, and you start reciting those affirmative things. I'm going to move my feet. I've worked hard. My parterre defense is good. All those things in the positive that you wanted to say. And then eventually you don't need the cards anymore. That's just how you wire it to do that. You start to say those things on a regular basis. It becomes part of that voice for you. There's no more of the negative, I should have, I could have, don'ts. Those are coaches. I learned that the hard way coaching at Oregon State. Never speaking in the negative, always the positive. I'm going to do this. This is going to be the key for this match. I have to do this. Never don't do this and don't let him do that. It's never in the negative, always in the positive. Your brain doesn't decipher. All it hears is what you said. If you're saying things that you don't want to do, that you don't want to happen, then change the narrative. Give it those positive things to say that you want to happen, that you're going to do, that you've prepared to do. That's how you control that voice. Step behind it. Don't have to react to it. Don't have to engage in it. Trust me, it applies to your personal life and every other part of your life too. That voice goes off on all kinds of situations, not just athletics. It translates to everything else you do. How you deal with people.
So the guys are, this camp specifically, they're developing their own strategy, their own plan. They're even writing down details. How important is it to be like your own best coach and know yourself, know thyself, know what you're going to do and have that.
Yeah, well,
that
nobody knows you better than you do, and so many times coaches tell you what they think you should do, but it's what you're telling yourself inside that's most important. We all have that crazy roommate, that voice in our head that says all kinds of things, especially when the pressure's on. He starts going nuts. Oh man, I should have done more sprints. And if you listen to him, he'll be out there in the parking lot doing more sprints, and then wonder why you're flat, why you got no legs on fight night or on tournament day. You got to learn and have confidence. Writing that plan out is very important. It's something I learned from wrestling and did in fighting that not a lot of other guys were doing. Sitting down with the calendar. Here's red letter day. Here's where we go kick ass. Here's my rest period, my recovery period. There's my last hard workout, and then pinpointing all those days that are going to be barn burners and all those days that are going to be tactical and technical and working on the specifics of how to win and how to succeed. Draw that map all the way back to where we're standing right now. And then implement that plan. That gives you the confidence when you're going through that rest and recovery period right before competition, where you can control that voice and he doesn't talk you into doing stupid shit, because you have confidence in the plan that you developed. You wouldn't go from here to Houston without looking at a map, or at least figuring out a route. How do you expect to get from here to winning a gold medal without drawing a map, without making a plan? You got to do that. It's important.
What did your fight strategies look like? I mean, you know your skills, you know your opponent's skills, and staying disciplined in those strategies. Like Pedro Hizzle fight, you knew he was going to kick you in the leg. You didn't know your leg was going to be black for 2 months.
Yeah, well,
but you know, sticking with
some lessons you learn the hard way. No one to that point had kicked me, so I expected to be able, if he tried to kick me, to be able to take him down every single time he picked his foot up. He was a little better at it than I gave him credit for.
So
I
that
got
fight,
kicked
you
about
made some
14
adjustments
times.
in the
But,
fight?
you start game planning. That's the beauty of this day and age. We talked about the downside of being able to film everything, but we got film on most of these guys you're going to compete against. So you have an idea where their strengths and weaknesses are. An idea where they score, where they've been scored on, and I can start to fashion and develop a game plan. If I know, at some point in the bracket I'm going to run into this guy that is supposed to be the best guy in the tough match, then I can sharpen the particular tools I need to put him in a bad situation and put me in the best place to win that match. He likes to gut wrench to one side. I better be ready. He scored on 3 guys with that gut wrench to that side, or that lift. He's got a reverse lift. I better sharpen up my reverse lift defense, because I don't want this guy throwing me on my head and get scoring those points that I got to then come back from that deficit. Being attentive and developing a plan. Going into a fight with a guy like Tito Ortiz, it's gonna be about wrestling. And 9 times out of 10, I will out wrestle his ass every single time. Let's make it a wrestling match. I'm not gonna stand around and trade punches and kicks with a guy. Why? Technically and tactically, I want to put him in those wrestling situations, because 9 out of 10 of those wrestling situations, I'm gonna win. If I'm wrestling a guy that's really, really good in parterre, then I'm going to do my best to score on my feet and stay out of that position. And if I get put there, I've got to be of the mindset that here's another place where I can beat this guy. I've done my homework. I've prepared my defense. Go ahead, put me down there. Here's another place I can beat you. I'm going to beat you. That's the mindset I need to have.